Hey everybody, welcome to EduMatch. Thank you so much for joining us. So we are here today with Amanda Rogers, who is one of the contributing authors to EduSnap 17. So welcome, Amanda.
Hey, I'm glad to be here.
We are so glad to have you. So Amanda wrote a great chapter entitled "What the Hell is PBL?" and that's one of my favorite titles for a chapter. So let me tell you all a little bit about Amanda if you're not yet hip. So Amanda Rogers is a self-proclaimed educational renegade who is passionate about transforming the traditional education system to mirror a modern-day startup company. Inspired by her friend Don Wettrick, who rocks, by the way, Amanda hopes to bring innovation to every classroom she encounters. Amanda works as a digital learning coach in Texas. She formerly taught high school science in a public charter school for 5 years before moving on to third grade in a local public school for 4 years. As a teacher, Amanda strives to reach every student through personalized learning via project-based learning. Amanda is a recipient of the Roger Grizzard Innovative Educator Award, Weatherford ISD Teacher of the Year, 2015 Curtis Elementary Teacher of the Year, 2015 Region 11 Teacher of the Year finalist, and 2017 ISTE Presidential Bronze Volunteer Service Award. When not turning the traditional educational model upside down, Amanda enjoys hanging out with animals, including her dogs Trooper and Max and her many farm animals. So we'll talk about where to find you a little later on, but so
All right.
glad you're here. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yes,
Uh,
I'm super excited.
yeah, we are super excited to learn with you. So let's jump in. So what's your background and who or what inspired you to go into education?
So, I actually didn't choose education. I like to say that education chose me. I was on the path to, I thought I was going to be a clinical psychologist. So, my undergrad degree is in psychology, and I had to do an internship, a counseling internship, and I chose to do it at a school, at the charter school that I first worked at. And from there, I fell in love with the classroom model, but I still didn't see myself as a teacher. And having a degree in psychology, you really can't do much with a bachelor's in psychology. So I was hanging out, jobless, and the school called and said, "Hey, would you be interested in teaching biology?" And I was like, but I'm not a certified teacher. Anyways, got alternatively certified and stayed there for 5 years and absolutely loved it. Um, my great grandfather was a principal, and he has a school named after him in Fort Worth, which was pretty awesome. But I always say, like, I think that he was like my subconscious inspiration. Like, it wasn't at the forefront, but now knowing like his mission and what he did to change around the school that he was principal of really makes me want to live out his legacy.
That is so cool. See, I don't know if I knew that about you. Like Amanda and I, we're really good friends. Yeah. So but that is really cool. So thanks for sharing that. So
Yeah.
so what got you interested in PBL?
So I had went to a training at the local service center and learned about PBL, and I was like, "This is pretty awesome." But it didn't really hit me. Like, I was like, "Okay, I'll try it." And my first try wasn't so great. We were going to cure world hunger, and well, that obviously didn't work. And but I had 7 students who were dyslexic, and I grew up dyslexic myself, so I have a special heart. And just being in the traditional classroom, and we were required to do small group reading, guided reading, and I just saw how bored they were. I was bored, and when we began even dabbling in PBL, there was a spark. And so we just continued fighting the good fight, and that's where my passion came from, is just seeing every kid succeed and be able to complete products using what they were passionate about and put it into whatever project we were doing.
Well, that is super cool, super cool. I just want to give a shout out to some folks who are watching right now and interacting with us. So hello to Rochelle, to Kathy, and to Seth. Thank you all so much for joining us.
Yay.
Yay! So these are all educators that we've been fortunate to connect with. So what has been your journey to being a connected educator, and what kinds of tips have you learned along the way?
Well, so ironically, I got connected through Twitter. And so Shauna Ford, which is an old librarian friend of mine, not old as in she's old, but like we've been friends a while. She'll like that. But she said, Amanda, you got to get on Twitter. And I was like, what? Why would I get on Twitter? And so I have to thank her for totally changing my life. But it took her and I believe Shelley Stout introduced me to EduMatch back in the day, and EduMatch is really what got me connected. So I remember in the mornings going through like the coffee line at Starbucks, being on EduMatch, asking some random question and just getting to know people, and how I thought it was so weird that people that didn't know me physically face to face knew me better than some of my physical friends. So EduMatch was definitely the key. And I think that, you know, Voxer was the game changer, having real conversations with people. Just the voice is so personal. And my advice to people would just be get connected. Like, don't be scared. I remember like my first ISTE, I stayed with Melissa Eddington, and I'd never met her face to face. I didn't care. We even shared a bed. It was no big deal, you know, like, who cares? But yeah, get connected. It's definitely life changing.
Yeah, I definitely second that. And thank you for everything that you bring to EduMatch. You're like one of the originals. So you were like,
Yeah, OG.
yeah, yes, EduMatch OG, absolutely. So let's shift gears a little bit to your book. So you're a contributing author in the upcoming EduSnap 17. What can people expect to read in your chapter?
So you can expect to read my trials and tribulations, so failures and successes with PBL, my first implementation to 3 years later. And then like the title, what the hell is PBL? So just an explanation of what PBL is and how to get involved and how to just go ahead and jump in.
Yeah, absolutely. And you told us a little bit about your journey to PBL, like what got you excited about it, what got you inspired. So what have been your biggest takeaways regarding PBL?
Oh man. So I don't know. Biggest takeaway would probably be like that it just reaches every kid. You know, I was able to personalize learning for learners in my classroom that were so different, but they could get the same standards, they could master standards that with traditional style teaching they could never grasp, and they did it in their own way. And just the designs and the creations that they would make were phenomenal. Like, I would never think that third graders could do some of the things that they did. So it was definitely life changing in education for me to be introduced to PBL, and then to start bringing in some passion based stuff along the way.
Yeah, totally, totally. All right. So when you're thinking about PBL and good PBL design, what elements would you say would be crucial to like a good PBL?
Okay, so um, one of my huge pet peeves is like people will be like, I'm doing PBL, and it's just a project because they have everything planned for the kids. And you have to like relinquish some control. And I'm pretty fly by the seat of your pants. So it was easy for me to be like, whatever, you know, the kids are going to do it. But I worked with other teachers on my team that were like, what? We don't have an exact plan for today. I'm like, no, the kids are going to be wherever they are in the project, and it's okay, you know, like, so I had to meet the needs of my learners. So say we were doing a PBL that involved area and perimeter, and they were struggling with something with perimeter, I would then do a workshop on perimeter. So instead of doing a whole group lesson, I would wait and see what the students need. So the first like thing with planning PBL that I would definitely do is you've got to engage them in something. It's got to be something that is real world to them, that's relevant to them. So my curing world hunger thing was not relevant to my kids because I had kids in my class that were hungry. So why do they care about kids around the world when themselves are hungry? So it had to be relevant to them. So I would begin asking them like, hey, you know, what are you interested in? What do you like? What kind of games do you play? Things like that, and then base whatever my standards were and try to combine them. So again, like combining passion with the standards and designing the ultimate PBL, and you can definitely use, there's a planner in the chapter that people can use to design a PBL.
Yeah, and that planner is legit. Definitely. All right, cool. So, what advice do you have for other educators based on your experiences in the classroom?
Oh, okay. My advice is like, just go with your heart. Do what you think is best for kids. Like, no matter what anyone is telling you, um, I wish that in some cases, like with administrators that might have held me back, that I would have just kept pushing, and I did, but in a silent way. But you got to be loud about what you know is best for kids.
Totally. I started talking before I could unmute myself. Absolutely. So definitely being an advocate for the students. So that's powerful. So how can people get in touch with you online if they want to learn more about you or more about what you do?
All right, so I am at the EdSaneT on Twitter. Um, I have a website. It's theedsaneteacher.com, and my email, everything's on there. So feel free to contact me anytime.
Sweet. Well, thank you so much, Amanda, for taking the time out to chat with us tonight. So super
Yeah.
excited about, yes, thank you so much. And super excited for people to read your chapter. I think that they will get a lot out of it. So again, look for her chapter 3, What the Hell is PBL? And I just love saying that. So that is awesome. So for anybody watching, tomorrow night we're going to be talking with AJ Bianco, who is also a contributing author to EduSnap 17. So tune in at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, and we will be chatting with him at that time. So thanks everybody, and have a fantastic evening.
Good night.
Night night.